Do you think Valak, the demonic nun from The Conjuring 2 and The Nun, is just a movie character? What if I told you the true story behind this horror is much darker, more disturbing, and more real than any movie could ever portray? In the next few minutes, you'll discover Valak's historical and demonological origins, the real-life cases of possession that inspired the films, ancient documents and paranormal records and reports of supernatural apparitions in convents that will make you doubt whether any safe place still exists. Stay with me until the end, because this is the story Hollywood never told, and one you may never sleep peacefully again. In the movies, Valak is portrayed as a demonic nun with piercing eyes, a disturbing presence, and supernatural powers that paralyze any viewer. But this character's origins are much older and more disturbing than you might imagine. According to medieval demonological records, including the famous Lamina Clavicula Salomonis, or Book of Solomon Valak, is described as a prince of hell, a powerful entity capable of revealing hidden secrets, corrupting the living, and testing human faith. The figure of the nun, in cinema, was used to create a perfect psychological contrast. Something that symbolizes purity and protection becomes a true instrument of terror. Valak is not just fiction, he is the materialization of centuries of legends, fears, and accounts of evil forces that supposedly walk among the living. What makes Valak terrifying is that there are records of demonic activity in convents dating back centuries. Ancient documents mention nuns reporting mysterious voices, objects moving on their own, and shadows infiltrating rooms, all coinciding with the description of Valak in the films. In a 17th century European convent, for example, reports speak of an entity dressed as a nun who appeared at night, causing panic among the nuns. Priests sent to investigate described unexplained supernatural phenomena, from disturbing noises to the sensation of being watched by invisible eyes. These historical and religious events provided the basis for the film version of Valak, transforming real-life accounts into a figure that haunts millions of viewers around the world. Several cases of demonic possession inspired the narratives of The Conjuring 2 and The Nun. In exorcism records, nuns and religious men described phenomena such as levitation, voices of children and adults, terrifying apparitions, and objects that moved unexplainedly. One of the most well-known cases involves a convent in Romania, where the nuns lived in constant fear of an invisible presence posing as a nun. Reports describe the sensation of being touched by something evil, doors slamming shut, and objects mysteriously disappearing, experiences that eerily coincide with the film's most memorable scenes. The fear provoked by Valak is not just visual, it is psychological. A nun represents purity, faith, and protection. But when this image is distorted and transformed into evil, the emotional impact is devastating. Hollywood has exploited this to its fullest. The demonic nun activates an ancient fear, the terror that evil can lurk where we least expect it, within something that should protect and guide us. This paradox between trust and danger is what makes Valak so memorable and terrifying. After the films, Valak became an icon of modern horror. His image appears in art, paranormal theories, memes, and horror stories. But what's most disturbing is realizing that his inspiration comes from historical accounts, real possessions, and demonological records, creating an unsettling connection between fiction and reality. Paranormal researchers and horror fans debate whether the cinematic representation is exaggerated or whether it somehow captures the essence of real entities documented throughout history. This blend of myth, reality, and psychological fear is what keeps Valak alive in the collective imagination. Valak's terror goes far beyond the screen. He is the embodiment of evil that infiltrates where there should be goodness. He is the reflection of traumas, hidden secrets, and ancestral fears. Historical documents, demonological texts, and paranormal accounts show that the presence of evil is real, even if invisible. For some, Valak is a warning, a test of faith. For others, it's proof that some evil forces have always walked among the living. The story of the demonic nun reminds us that the unknown and the supernatural are still very close to our reality. Valak is one of the most terrifying figures in modern cinema, but her origin and inspiration are even more frightening. Between cases of possession, historical accounts, demonological texts, and unexplained phenomena, the demonic nun has become a global horror icon. And now the question remains, Do you still believe Valak is just fiction? Or perhaps something as evil as her really exists, lurking? If you enjoyed this video and want to continue exploring the darkest mysteries, legends, and real-life horror stories, don't forget to subscribe to the Haunted Hour channel, leave a comment with your opinion about Valak, and share it so more people can discover the true horror behind the demonic nun.